Welcome back to Carry Yarn. This is Kat, your fearless leader. Today we start our beginner crochet series with how to make a slip knot and a chain. A chain would be abbreviated in any crochet pattern as CH. What you're going to need is a crochet hook, and I'm using a 5mm Addy swing hook today, and some yarn. This yarn is a comfy cotton blend from Lion Brand Yarns, and the color is stained glass. I chose cotton because at the end of this series, the beginner project will require this type of yarn. I bought this on clearance at my local Walmart. Way to save money, Kat. Let's get started. What you're going to need to do is, to start your crochet, is a slip knot. Now, if you've watched my beginner knitting tutorials, I've demonstrated on how I make a slip knot. Don't worry, you don't have to go back and watch them. I'll go ahead and demonstrate again. What I do is I hold the tail of the yarn, which is the end of the yarn, and hold it perpendicular to my finger. I take the working yarn, which is the yarn attached to the ball, and I wrap it around my index finger to form an X. I hold that X in place with my thumb. Then I pull up the loop that I formed and I hold it against the pad of my index finger. I take the working yarn, which is the yarn attached to the ball, not the tail, and I push it through the loop that I created and I pull up. I've created a slip knot. Again, perpendicular to my pinky, I wrap it around my index finger and form the X, holding it in place with my thumb. I pull it up, rest it against the pad of my index finger, take my working yarn and push it through that loop that I've made a slip knot. I'm going to take my crochet hook and make sure that the loop is not too loose and not too tight on the shaft of the crochet hook. This way, I have full range of motion with my hook, and it's not too tight to get in and out of to create my chains. I'm going to take my hook, and I'm going to wrap that working yarn around so that the yarn is being pushed down by the hook. Now, you have to remember that you're going to need to tension your yarn. As with knitting, you have to find something that's comfortable for you so that the yarn feeds through as you're working, and it's tense enough that your stitches are even and they're easily worked into. I also hold the slip knot bump with my middle finger and my thumb to provide some stabilization so that my project isn't working and wobbly. So I'm going to take my hook, I'm going to wrap that working yarn around the hook so that the hook is pulling down on that yarn. I'm going to pull down that yarn through that loop that I have on my hook, and now I have a new loop on my hook, and the loop that was here has actually moved in to the bottom. I've created a chain. Again, I'm going to take that working yarn, wrap it around my hook, pull down through that loop, and I've made another chain. Again, up, pull down on the working yarn, pull it through the loop, and there's a chain. As with knitting, you're going to see these beautiful little V's forming. With knitting, you'll see it going vertically, but with crochet, those V's actually form horizontally. And the way that you would count them is you would have two legs on either side to make that V. So there's 1, 2, 3. There's a leg here, a leg here, and a leg here, a leg here, a leg here, and a leg here. So each little V is one chain. So we've made 3. We're going to go up, pull down on that working yarn, and now you've made 4. Pull down on that working yarn, and there's 5. Continue to do this until you have 30 chains made. Now, as with knitting, crochet, if you make a mistake and you lose count, it's perfectly fine. If you want to practice, you just go ahead and pull it out. So perpendicular, make your slip knot. Put the hook into that loop, tug down a little bit, tension your yarn, hold that tail in between your middle finger and your thumb, take your hook, pull down on that working yarn, pull it through the loop, down on the working yarn, pull it through a loop, down on that working yarn, pull through the loop. And with practice, it becomes muscle memory, so you're not actually having to remember the motions. All you have to remember is to count. Go ahead, stop the video, make your 30 chains, and come back and I will teach you how to single crochet. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe because I update regularly. If you'd like, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Thanks again. This is Kat with Carry Yarn. Have a great day. Bye.